All right, I'll turn it over to Liz.
Okay, apparently I'm very quiet, so I'm trying to talk loud. And I do like Carolyn, your dog in the background. Very cute. Right, so thank you for being a part of the meeting tonight. We're here to talk about how we should disperse the extra 22,000 that we weren't sure we were going to get. As Jen's email indicated, we wanted to have this conversation because it really is a larger amount.
Oh, you almost started working there for a minute,
Yeah, it sounded like it's gonna get louder, Liz.
and now you're gone. Can't hear you at all.
No.
Ah,
Still can't hear you. You, Liz, maybe as a troubleshooter, you can stay on video and you could call in to the Zoom number.
Okay.
And so yeah, put yourself on mute, yeah, and then call in and let's see if we can do it that way. Let me know if you need the number and passcode, Liz. I see you looking. I can drop it in the chat. Would that be easier? Yep, okay. We'll get there, guys. Thanks for bearing with us.
I almost didn't make it.
Oh, gosh. The four of you all indicated that you were coming, I believe, and so that was my quorum there. I don't think anyone else indicated one way or the other on whether or not they were coming.
Yeah, I definitely planned on making it, but I ran out of gas in my snowmobile and had to walk to get the gas can and then walk back.
oh my God.
We certainly appreciate the effort there, Andrew.
Oh my God.
Of course, I don't see a call-in ID. I know there is one.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
I know. Well, we can hear you now, Liz.
Oh, you can.
It's quiet again, but we can hear you.
Okay, well, I'll try to talk loud. All right, so with the quorum, what we're trying to do is determine where we should split this $22,000 in extra cannabis tax revenue that is estimated to come to Deschutes County. Can you hear me?
Enough.
Okay, so and we wanted to have this conversation because it was a little too much just to do the proration based on how we indicated in our last meeting. Doing it this way, what we were saying is, well, code enforcement wasn't asking for anything more than 20,000, and Jen just didn't want to say, well, let's give the 22,000 to the four entities. So what I'd like to do is open this up for discussion. If anybody has a recommendation on how we should divvy up this extra 22,000 in cannabis tax revenue. Any proposals?
And I'll add real quick too. Does anyone want a recap of the requested amount and the recommended of where we are right now? Or are we all good?
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw you sent it out, and it was like, I remember 95, 40 something or other.
40, 15, and 20.
Yeah, so we funded, the CAP funded the sheriff's office at 100% of the request, funded CDD at 100% of the request, health services requested 60, they were funded at 40, and community justice requested 50,000 and they were funded at 15,000. And there's 22,000 left to work with out of those, all of that.
Oh, so there's only 22. I thought there was 27.
Yeah, I had a math typo on my first one, sorry.
Okay.
There's 22, we're estimating about 197,000 in marijuana revenue, tax revenue, and we budgeted for 175,000 in the last meeting.
So my personal suggestion is that we top the sheriff's department at the 100,000. We do behavioral health at 50. And then, because I had the numbers wrong, I was gonna suggest that code at 25, but leave them at 20, and then whatever's left over is for community justice. That's just my recommendation.
How much to code?
So that would leave 7,000 to community justice. If I heard Mary right, it was an additional 5K to the sheriffs, an additional 10K to the health services, an additional 7K to community justice, and then leaves CDD as is. I think that's what Mary said.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, does anybody else have a recommendation? Or care?
No, I like that idea. I think as long as we fund the full 100 and then kind of divvy it up from there, I don't really mind how else it's divvied.
We lost you again, Liz. Can't hear you, Liz. You can type in the chat too if you want. Gary, while Liz is doing that, Gary, do you have another proposal?
No, I mean, that sounds fine. However, we want to split it up. Sounds like the sheriff's office would be getting 5 more. What, health services gets 7 more, and somebody else got 10 more.
Opposite. So Mary's idea was to give health services an additional 10,000 more, putting it at 50,000, and then 7,000 to community justice. So health services, just to recap, is running the PSA ads about how to talk to your children in Spanish and English. And then the community justices program was the FFT, family functional therapy, between the youth services and their family for counseling for drug addiction.
And neither of them got their full ask, but this gives them more towards that.
I actually, on second thought, think maybe flipping it. I know that community justice in the past hasn't spent the full allocation, but I mean, they requested 50 and only getting 15. So I think that the extra 10 would really help them, in consideration that we're already doing 10 above health services request last year. And this is really for material and printing, more those lines. And I think that program community justice informed us about, and how they, are going to homes and spending 12 sessions with families. I think 3,000 difference isn't astronomical, but I would feel better at going to community justice.
Or what about just making them even, Andrew?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So that'd be 8.5 each. 8,500. Oh, Liz, sorry, Liz has a chat up. Okay. Liz says, since the sergeant said they were okay with the 95,000, her proposal was she would give them 95,000 as they were originally funded. CDD stays at 20,000, and her suggestion is 10,000 to health services and 12,000 to community justice. So using the full 22,000 to split with the two departments who weren't fully funded. So we have 3 options on the table right now. We have Mary's option of 5,000 sheriff's office, 10,000 health services, 7,000 community justice. Sorry, we have 4 options. Andrew's 5,000 sheriff's office, 10,000 community justice, 7,000 health services. Gary's 5,000 to sheriff's office, 8,500 each to community justice and health services, or Liz's 10,000 to community, or 10,000 to health services and 12,000 to community justice. So those are of the 4 voting members, those are the 4 options on the table. So if there's any interest in making a second, if we have 2 people interested in any of those proposals, of one of those proposals, then we can start making some motions, or you guys can discuss further.
I wish you could hear me.
We can hear you now, Liz. You're back.
Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. But you see, it doesn't flip over to me. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, there.
I mean, you're still quiet, but we can hear you.
Wow, I have done Zooms before and my audio is always okay. All right, so as Jen was saying, is there any interest in any of these?
The last two,
So the last two would be Liz's suggestion and then Gary's suggestion.
yeah,
Why
I'm
don't
good
we
with,
combine the two.
I'm good with splitting the two. Then we're all
Yeah.
happy.
We could go with Liz's part of giving the sheriff's department what they asked for, the 95, because they're already getting a little more than they asked for, and then splitting the other two.
So they each
Yeah.
get 11,000.
Sounds fair.
11 and 11 for health services and community justice.
If there is movement for that, somebody could say so moved. If there's, and then we could go to a vote.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Well, Jen, can you just because I can't hear Liz that well. So tell me again, what is,
So the motion on the table is splitting it total, 11,000 to health services, 11,000 to community justice, and keeping sheriff's office and CDD at their requested amount. That is the motion on the table by Andrew.
I
okay,
second.
Liz seconds the motion.
I'm fine.